Derek, it's probably a little too early to be planning the parade for the Edmonton Oilers. It's early in the season. They've done very well thus far, but it's early in the season and they haven't played a lot of teams yet.
No, they haven't. Of the 9 teams they've played so far, they're 7-1-1. They've only played 2 playoff teams that made the playoffs last year, and both of those teams are struggling. New York Islanders right now and the Winnipeg Jets, they're struggling a little bit. But saying that, you can only beat the teams that they play in front of you. So the Oilers have done that. They've gone out and they've beat these teams, and what that shows me is that the Oilers are not in the bottom half or bottom third of the league. And I think that's very encouraging to some Oiler fans considering the way they've struggled in the last few years. So that tells you that they're up in that somewhere in that second tier, in that middle tier. And whether or not they're up with the upper echelon teams, that's something that we're going to see as they start going through the schedule here, and once they play teams like Washington, once they play teams like Pittsburgh, once they play teams like St. Louis, once they start playing those high-end teams, then you really get a sense of where exactly the Oilers rank. But I think it's positive right now that they are being able to beat those lower-end teams, even though they're not always pretty, those victories. They are getting the job done, and I think that's what's important right now for the Edmonton Oilers.
And players like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who clearly are the engines that drive the Oilers' offense, they're not going to be able to score every single game. In the games against Winnipeg and Detroit, McDavid didn't even record 1 point. And they're going to have to rely on their good goaltending, and they're going to try to find some scoring from elsewhere.
Well, that was the knock on the team last year. Last year, Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid were more above and beyond what they expected out of them, but they just didn't get any secondary support. They didn't get any secondary scoring. So the key for Ken Holland this year was to bring in some guys on the bottom 2 lines and on your bottom 6 forwards that can contribute offensively. Obviously, the James Neal has proved to be huge, getting him in here and him contributing the way he's going to contribute. But I think they also need some contributions from their bottom 6. Now, the bottom 6 to me are playing pretty well right now. They're getting a lot of offensive zone time. They're not being a liability on the ice, which I think is a step up from last year. Now it's just a matter of them. They have to contribute because you're right. You can't have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl scoring 4 points a night in order to win. And I think you need to win games other ways. And if they had snuck that one out against Winnipeg, that would have been another gritty win to be able to do it. But they're getting their goaltending right now. Defensively, they're playing pretty well, and their stars are being their stars. Now you just need that 4th piece of that puzzle to kind of fit in.